Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions get answered. Your questions make the show. If I don't have questions, I don't have a show. And after last week's show, I have a lot of questions, which is really cool. Now, one of the things that came out in last week's show, or maybe it was the week before, I can't remember which one, but there was a question about gear that I wish I had never gotten rid of or sold. And I forgot this piece of gear, but I just released a video yesterday, and I'm doing this after work on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I released a video this week. It was a vintage video of me playing drums with my Zoom camera and stuff, and there's a blue sparkle club date kit in the video. And that kit is a 1965 club date kit with a 1968 classic Ludwig floor tom that I recovered to blue sparkle. I love that kit, and I gave it to a church in town that is no longer there even, so I don't even know where the kit ended up, if they sold it or whatever. But anyhow, I donated it to a church. Anyhow, it's one of those things that I miss in the studio because the warm mahogany sound. So I just wanted to go throw that in there in case you haven't seen that video of me playing the Blue Sparkle Club Date kit, but I really love that kit. It's one of my favorite kits. So I have a lot of questions today, and I'm gonna try to get to it. I'm also racing with my camera to may die at some point, so this could be like I go as far as I go and I have to pick it up with my iPhone 6s versus my iPhone 10 XR, which I'm using right now. May even have a different angle when I'm all done with this. My first question comes from Kurt Johnson, and Kurt Johnson asks a question: what are my thoughts of cymbal companies discontinuing cymbal lines? Now, I'm an old guy. I've been around a long time, Kurt, so I've seen a lot of changes. First off, I love the Paiste Giant Beat cymbals, but I was not around or didn't recognize the first version of Paiste Giant Beats. Weren't in my sphere. When I was a kid, I started with Zildjian. But I have watched the cymbal companies go from being just Zildjian and Paiste to being Zildjian, Paiste, Sabian. Of course, you've had UFIP and all those others. I've gone through that a billion times. I would say one of the biggest disappointments I had was when I started starting to like Paiste cymbals. The first versions of the 2002s were Black Label, and then they went to Red Label, like this. And in the mid 1980s, they discontinued the 2002 cymbals and went to 1000s, 2000s, and 3000s. They also got rid of the 602, Formula 602 cymbals. That was a big disappointment to me. So, anyhow, now with so many cymbals being produced, I don't know what they're keeping or not keeping. Like, I don't know if they still make Keropes or not, to be honest. I would think they're still making Keropes because they seem popular to me, but I don't see a lot of guys playing Keropes. So, I don't know if the Keropes are still around here in 2019. Okay, I believe the Avidus line is, but I'm not sure for Zildjian. Sabian just got rid of all of their naming of the AAX line. It used to be Studio Crash, Stage Crash. Now it's thin and medium and heavy. So that's a big, huge change for the AAX line. But it actually hasn't changed anything. You can equate the Studio with thin and the medium with, the Stage series. So I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting how things change, and I think it's one of the ways they're making us want to buy new stuff, is they keep changing stuff, and that's the interesting thing. I will tell you that I was not impressed with Zildjian cymbals of the 80s and 90s. I was less impressed with Sabian HHs in the 90s, but by the 2000s, I didn't like the HHs anymore. So all of my Sabians are old Sabians from the 80s, when they were the old Canadian. They came from the Canadian K factory Sabians. That's the Canadian K factory and Zildjian factory became the Sabian factory. So I had this thing for Canadian Ks, the early Canadian K Zildjians, before Avidus Zildjian died. Okay, So the early Sabians were kind of warm to my heart, kind of like Canadian Ks. So I have a whole bunch of those. Sabian has come out with cymbals that are more like the original Canadian Ks and the original HHs when they went back and they remastered the HH line a couple years ago. They're thinner, and everybody's gone to thinner cymbals because everybody's looking for 60s and 50s cymbals. You know, it's kind of funny. So what do I think of it? I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do think it's a marketing thing to get us to buy new cymbals again. And my thing lately has been, if I like what I've got, I'm not really messing with it. I haven't really bought a new cymbal in a long time. I mean, a long time for me is 3 years. I think this might have been the last cymbal I remember buying. Okay, I don't think I've traded even for any cymbals. Actually, my Paiste 2002 China type was a trade for a Zildjian to that China type, to my friend Steve Dupree. So I haven't been buying a lot of cymbals lately. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm still looking at Caropes, and if I could get a set of Carope hats, maybe I'd pick a set up. I looked at the Advitus line of Zildjians because I think they're kind of classic and I like them a lot, so I might buy one of those someday. And I keep looking at the big beats. I'm kind of done with giant beats. I was going to go for a 22. I don't think I need one. I'd rather have a big beat 19, I think, versus a giant beat 19. That's just my thoughts. Anyhow, great question though. My next question comes from 2112 Drums. And 2112 asked the question, have you ever played an 18-inch bass drum? And the answer to that question is yes, I have played an 18-inch bass drum. Now, I've never owned an 18-inch bass drum. I played some gigs in a prison with a friend of mine, a prison ministry I do some work with. And my friend Tony Leffler has a Rick Murata Yamaha kit, which has got the hip gig kit, which has got the 16-inch bass drum. Wasn't a fan of it. It was pretty much, I stuck something in it. I had to stick something in it. I like the bass drum to have a little something in it, or to have a punchiness to it, and it was too wide open and too high pitched for me without something in the drum. So I'm not a big fan of 16-inch bass drums, but I have been looking at the breakbeat kits by Ludwig, and I've looked at the Sonar Martini kits and the Yamaha hip gig kits, and if the right one came along, I might take it. But right now, my little small compact kit for gigging is this Gretsch kit with the 18-inch bass drum, either the 10 or the 12-inch tom, 14x14 floor tom. By the way, those of you who have been following me for a long time know I was in a band in 2017 and 18 called the Swigs. I actually got a phone call last night from those guys. They got a gig. It's not a paying gig, but they got a gig. Anyhow, they asked me if I would play with them. It's kind of a benefit for somebody at a local bar in town. Actually, it's in Hobe Sound. It's a little further away from here, about 40 minutes. But I said, yeah, love to play with you guys again. I just haven't had time to commit to being in a band lately. It's been kind of my day job and, YouTube and studio sessions for people. So that's a little shout out to my Swig. So hopefully I will be taking the little Gretsch kit here with the 18-inch bass drum for that gig. That's my hope. Another shout out I want to do, those of you who know Kelly Kusumoto, I forget what he goes by out here, KMDrums, he's known by. I had the honor of playing on his CD, his recently released CD. I think it's called Plastic. Oh gosh, sorry Kelly, I'm blowing this promo for you. But I'm on the CD. I'm on 2 of the tracks, and anyhow, I had a lot of fun playing with Kelly. So he kept me on, and they're very interesting. They're interesting tracks to play on. And I think if you guys know my playing, you'll know which ones are mine. I think one's called Now What, Then Now. Gosh, Kelly, I am really butchering this stuff, and I can't go to my iPad to look at it right now. Check out Kelly's KMDrums new CD. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all that good stuff. So anyhow, I'm on 2 cuts. I know Jeff Holden's on 4 cuts. Jeff got a lot of them. And I think also Rafe's on it. And so is Chimmy Dolly Dur, which I always mess your name up. I know you got a real name now. I found out your real name, but I don't have it committed to memory. So I will get to you, and I will get you by your real name. I saw it on Kelly's website. Check out KMDrums' new album. All right. Laurie Jones, UK. He asked a question. This question is, he had 2 questions. Do you use a bass drum with a soft beater or internal dampening? I don't think that's an either or question, to be honest. For me, I usually use I use all beaters. My favorite beater on my main kit is a square Zorro beater, felt. I also have a square wooden beater, which I use as the double pedal one. I rarely use that for the main drum. I just picked up something for this pedal on this kit right now. It is the old Rogers beater. It's the one that you can actually turn from the felt side to the hard plastic side. And it's available with the new Rogers pedals, the Dynamatic pedal, not called the Swivomatic, which the originals were called. So the new Dynamatics have it. I don't have a Dynamatic pedal, but I found the beater for 20 bucks on eBay, or it was 18 and change. I bought it. Love it. I have a couple Vic Firth beaters that I use a lot. And I do have one really soft vintage beater. But I rarely use the vintage beater. Believe it or not, when I'm playing my jazz covers, a lot of times I'm just playing whatever beater's on the kit, and I'm feathering. And my feathering is quite light. It's not... So I can feather. I'm feathering right now. I got the hard plastic side of this beater on here right now. And you can hear the difference, the hard plastic to the felt side. Slight difference, you know what I mean? So... But yeah, I don't think it's an either or thing. Now, internal dampening. Interesting thing. Both my bass drums now have got EMADs on the back of them. That's got an EMAD with Evans 56 on the Gretsch kit, my main Gretsch kit with the 20-inch bass drum. This one's got an EMAD classic single ply clear EMAD on the back. There's nothing in this bass drum, and there's nothing in that bass drum, I don't think. Well, I might have the Evans little head, but I'm not sure. I don't think so for some reason. I'm not sure it's in there. If the Evans pillow's in there, it's leaning against the front head. It's not leaning on the back head of that drum. So both of those drums are pretty wide open right now. The only drum I've got muffling, extreme amount of muffling in, is my 22-inch kick, which is in that room over there. And that's the drum I do that to. Your second question, Lori, was external monitor facing at you, I assume, or in-ear monitors, headphones you were talking about, for hearing the band. I've done it both ways. I can play either way. Do I have a preference? If I've got an Avion system where I can control my mix with in-ears, I love it. If I'm mic'd properly and the whole band is mic'd properly, in-ears are the best for me. It doesn't bother me. But if I'm not in a situation where everything's mic'd properly, it's only partially mic'd, you're only getting vocals, I would rather have a wedge monitor, because then I can mix myself with the group better. Most of the situations where I'm playing with in-ear monitors, I'm in one of those drum booths at a church. So that does change your perspective on how hard you hit things, and the booth kind of keeps things in a little differently. So I like it both ways. Anyhow, I hope that helps. Next question is from Rich Raw Dog. And Rich's question is, what's the largest crowd you've ever played to? And that's a great question, Rich. In 1990, I played a gig with a band called Water. We were called Water. It used to be called Will and Ray, Will Comstock and Ray Giglio. We were the backing band for them, and then they made us a band. Anyhow, and that's a long story I won't get into. But we played center stage Thursday morning, 10 a.m. at Creation Festival in Pennsylvania, 1990, Creation 1990. So we were playing for about 10,000 people. out on the main lawn. I think when it was packed at night with the big bands that were playing, I think there were close to 30 to 35,000 people there out in front. But I know there was about 10,000 people, so that's the biggest I've ever played to. It's the first time I ever had monitors where the kick was coming in the monitors and the snare was coming in the monitors. It was the first time I was ever on the Jumbotron screens, you know, and you could see me in living color up there on the screens by the, you know, by the speaker array. It was pretty wild. Other than that, I've played some 1,000, 2,000 seat theaters a couple times, a couple shows that way. Mostly played in clubs and casuals and church gigs. Church gigs, I mean, if you play in some churches, you're going to be playing for 10,000 people. So, I mean, probably the biggest church service I played for is probably about 1,000, 1,200, maybe 2,000, I don't know. So, you know, churches are pretty big today, especially down here. But yeah, that was my big gig. It was Creation Festival, main stage, that whole thing. I have a video of it somewhere. It's not converted from VHS to anything, and I doubt I'll ever convert it. And I don't even know where it is, but it would be kind of fun to watch me jumping off the stage. So it was kind of cool. I was about 30. I guess I was 30 or 31 at the time. 90, I would have been 30, just about turning 30. I was 29 actually, going to turn 30 that year. All right. Anyhow, hope that answers your question, Rich. That was a great question, though. Bill Morehouse asked a question. He said, do you know the name of that weird instrument that has the crunching sound? Now, I was trying to figure out what weird instrument he's talking about. You know, I thought maybe he's talking about a ribbon crasher, which is pieces of metal kind of tied together. Engelhardt, I think his name was Paul Engelhardt, made these back in the 80s, and now they're made by Rhythm Tech, and they make that clashing sound. But I'm not sure that's what he was looking for. I don't know if he was talking about the thing you wind up, and it goes, and that makes a kind of a grinding sound. It's a percussion instrument, and if you know the name of it, leave it in the comments, because I can still not think of that name of that percussion instrument. I have one in here. It's not a good one. It's something you use like on songs in orchestra. It's an orchestral instrument. I forget what it's called exactly. It's really driving me crazy. I don't know it. But as you can see, when I do Ask Earl anything, I come in and I just wing it. So I've already proven that to K-Man this week. But I'm not sure which noise you're looking for. I mean, are you talking about the rhythm crash? Are you talking about that chopper cymbal that Sabian has? I mean, metal on metal kind of thing. Not sure. There's lots of cool, weird sounds out there. So I thought you were going for the Engelhardt ribbon crasher. I sent you a video and a link to it. You never wrote me back, Bill. So if you see this, let me know which one you think it is, or if I'm totally off base. But unless you're asking about one of my weird instruments, and I can't think of a weird instrument that I have in here that, unless you're talking about a vibra slap. Is that what you're talking about? Vibra slap's got that little ball on the end, and it's got that little bell thing where it jiggles. That's kind of a cool instrument, you know? Truthfully, these gongs are weird instruments, if you ask me, some of them. Matter of fact, I have a picture for a second. That's my pretty gong, but this is my swing gong, or opera gong. That's nasty, man. That is so nasty. My wife bought that for me. It's almost time for me to leave. All right, last question. Eric DeWeese. I think I'm doing this faster than I do my show normally. I'm kind of moving it. You know, last show I had 2 questions and it took me a half hour somehow. Last question is Eric DeWeese. He asked me, and this is a serious question. This is why I saved it for last. What do you think I should do to improve my channel based on your experience? So Eric's a great drummer. Let's throw a shout out to Eric. Eric is a pro drummer. I think he's played a lot of gigs from what I can tell, just the way he plays. He's extremely solid. He's got a studio mindset. He plays a lot of the classic rock stuff. Some of you subscribe to him. but he wants to take it to another level. So how do we take this channel thing to the next level? By the way, I just crossed 1,900 subscribers today. I'm probably a month away from hitting 2,000 subs. And that journey is about a month, maybe a month. Yeah, it's probably will be exactly a year to get my second 1,000 subscribers. I hit 1,000 subscribers last June. How did I do that? How did I grow my channel? Well, I will tell you, if you look at my channel, Eric, you'll see that I put out a lot of videos. One of the things I did was I put a lot of my videos out. I put 2 to 4 videos a week out. I think I put 3 videos on average every week out. Every 2 or 3 days another video comes out for me. So that has a lot to do with it. So I have close to 500 videos. I think there's guys that have been doing this a lot longer than me that don't have as many videos as I do. But if you started 7 years ago or 5 years ago, guess what? You've got some videos that kept being put in the queue over 2015, 16, 17 when I was getting into it. And you got yourself up to 3, 4, 5,000 subscribers somehow. Because the drum cover thing really didn't take off like it is today, where everybody does drum covers now. Instagram really took off in the last 5 years. Everybody does drum videos on Instagram. So it seems like everybody's doing this, okay? So if you were in this for a while, you've got some good subscribers. You got a great base. Me getting to 2,000 subscribers, that's just me saying I'm going to be in the game every week. So I put out a video every couple days. So I put videos in the queue now. I basically have a bank of videos. I'm constantly sitting on videos. I probably have at least 10 videos I'm sitting on. Now, some of them are pretty old because they're usually the stuff, if I get down to the real bottom of the barrel of my videos in the back, it's usually stuff that I didn't like enough to want to put out immediately, because I keep putting out newer stuff that I do. But sometimes it's genre specific, meaning I don't try not to put out every jazz video or every big band video or every Music Minus One book video that I have. You know, I try to do that. I space them out with some popular covers. I will say the thing that's really made my channel is my this talk show. This is probably the biggest thing I have on my channel. And it's why I heard Beats by Jay say a couple months ago, he was talking on one of his live shows that he hasn't even gotten his first $100 check from Google. If all you're doing is drum covers of other people, you'll never monetize anything. And it's very hard to monetize stuff that somebody else owns. So all these drum covers we do, which really bring people to my channel, most of them I can't monetize. Funny thing is, I do get to monetize some of them, and they're usually those ones that are those big band covers or those Music Minus One records. Those are the ones I can monetize. But you can't monetize everything. So what can I monetize? Well, Ask Earl Anything is one thing. All my drum talks where I don't have any kind of a cover on it that is unmonetizable. Those are the ones that I can put them on and I can monetize that video. And that's really helped me build my channel. And that was my goal, was to be able to monetize stuff. Now, I don't think I'm going to be rich doing YouTube, as you all know. But I have had a lot of fun making that part of my goal, was to monetize things. So all I can say is I think it's the talk show that kind of drives a lot of people to my channel. And my other success has been those 5, I talk about this all the time, there's like 5, maybe 10 videos that are well over 1,000 views on them. I've got one that's like almost 30,000 views on it. And that's what drives people to my channel. It's the Christian 5 basic worship beats, which, maybe in 5 years that thing could take off. It gets picked up by people's sites and somebody likes it and then it gets shown. Like I have a version of Misty where I'm playing brushes, and some brush site liked it enough to put it in their queue of stuff. So that gets a lot of hits on it, and that's one of the ones I monetize. It's kind of funny because Jim Chapin's Music Minus One, they haven't figured that out yet for some reason. they're actually discontinuing all their products, so nobody seems to care about the publishing of these things. So I get some views off of it. You know what I mean? But it's consistency, and then having a niche show like this where you guys like to watch it. And by the way, the show doesn't generate a lot of views, but I've got some pretty consistent viewers, and thank you all that love to watch this show. And it has been growing, you know, and I think it's a fun show because you get to interact with me, and I will try to answer your questions. So I think this show has really helped my channel in a big way, huge way. That and those videos that are already out there, driving people to my channel, and YouTube keeps throwing me in the queue because I'm putting out 3 to 5 videos a week. That makes me a content producer in YouTube world, and that's driving some people to my channel too. So, but how could you be a success? I don't know. I think if you could pull together some kind of a show where you talk, you might get some more people. I think you got great content, Eric. I mean, I really enjoy your videos. I think you're one of the better players here on YouTube in the community, and I say that with caution, of course. But you definitely are a solid player. And being a solid player, I enjoy watching you. I really enjoy guys that can play songs, and you're a songwriter player. You know, you play songs, and you enjoy playing songs, and that's cool. Some here that I watch, some guys are all about one niche. It's like metal, or it's 90s, or it's classic rock. But you're a songwriter's guy, so you play a lot of songs. As everybody knows, I'm all over the place. That's probably the other thing that I would say to you is I'm a little more all over the place, which means I have no niche of anybody. I'm the jack of all trades, master of none guy. But I have definitely picked up a following through that, so that's part of my success. But yeah, talking videos might be a way to twist you if you can get in front of a camera and talk to it like I do. By the way, I don't know if this camera just died or not. I'm not sure. I may have just gone so far and it's finished. But thank you for watching Ask Earl Anything. Your questions make the show. I appreciate all the questions this week, and I hope you enjoyed the show this week. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.